is glad to have you join us on another engaging and informative episode of Enterprise Morning right here on Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igwebike.
And I'm Choma Okohe.
In a bit, we'll be going to our newspaper headlines to see what we have for you this morning. And right after that, will be our main conversation also for today. While we get everything all sorted out for you, please do well to visit our website at www.enterprisetv.com and also like, comment respectfully, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. With us today in the studios to do justice to our newspaper review is Barrister Evans Ufeli. He is a barrister at law and also a public affairs commentator. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And welcome as always. All right, so quickly let's start off our newspaper headlines today with the first daily. And this is coming from the Daily Times newspaper. A big story here says Obi false plan to purchase a presidential aircraft for Tinubu and Shettima. And the writer here says plan unacceptable, shows disconnect with people's plight. The sub-writer flees construction of 21 billionaire official residence for vice president amid economic hardship.
Okay, moving on, but still on the Daily Times newspaper. UAE to lift visa ban on Nigeria soon, says Kayamo.
Yes, and the downstream of the same newspaper, Lagbaja attacks troops to remain resolute in combating terrorism.
Moving on, please denounce booing of Emir Sanusi, one troublemakers.
Yes, I think that's all we have. Okay, there's one on the top strip of the same newspaper. Tinubu to attend the inauguration of South African President Ramaphosa. And let's get into the core of the daily today. Obi false plan to purchase presidential aircraft for Tinubu and Shettima. Peter Obi has been very vocal about this. But do you think he is not being unnecessarily finicky and fusy about all of these allegations he's been making?
No. Even you as a presenter knew that private jet issue is profligacy. I mean, you cannot do that. You cannot tell me that under this condition, that not like the president does not need a carrier, not that the country does not need it, okay? But I say that we have 6 already. And you cannot tell me that the 6 of them are beyond repair. Among the 6 we have, none of them have ever crashed, landed anywhere. They have not been accident of any kind.
Well, some of them are unserviceable.
We're told that they're unserviceable.
Yeah.
You understand? But how old are these aircraft that have become unserviceable?
Between 12 and 19 years.
In aviation, okay, the older the aircraft, the better. Have you flown Dana before? Have you flown Dana?
Yeah.
If you have flown Dana, you see their aircraft. The Sosoliso that crash landed some time ago in 2006 was 32 years as at the time it crashed. It was flying 32 years ago as at the time it crashed. Okay, 2206. In fact, there was one jet that I think was it Arik or so, I can't remember, the aircraft before it was even leased to Arik. And that time I were arguing and I said, this aircraft had been flying before I was born. We're arguing then in 2006. Okay, so they can tell the general public, but not for some persons who have a little knowledge of aviation. You understand that they just want to be profligate. Why didn't they mop up the funds they use in buying those many cars? 72 SUVs came in with the president into Lagos, this small city, which is the proceed of the supplementary budget 2023. Why didn't they? So now they want to. No, see, the truth is this. Is even this idea to purchase an aircraft, was it budgeted for? I don't think it was part of the budget, this year's budget. I don't think so.
And you wouldn't want to see that as a matter of urgency?
Because Bayo Onanuga already said that they don't want the president to die like the president of...
Okay.
Yes.
Nobody wished the president to die. Because that plane, actually, the one for Malawi, the plane actually left the radar. It got lost, such that the control tower could not even trace it until they found where it crash landed. That was an unfortunate situation. We're not saying that should happen to the president. And Bayo Onanuga should not talk on issues that are supposed to be for experts. The experts are the ones that are supposed to make such statements. The condition of that aircraft and why it crash landed, the black box have not been examined till now. So you cannot tell us the head. So the president is not going to get lost. Okay. The problem we have is that the 200 million citizens are lost already. So Bayo Onanuga should be pathetic to the 200 million citizens that are lost completely. We are lost. Yes, because people cannot feed. People are selling their children. People cannot do what they ought to do. People cannot buy pepper. They cannot buy. It just comes down to home economics. Home economics has crumbled. We're not even talking about national income or national economics. We're talking about home economics. Any country where home economics has crumbled is not doing well. So you should look at the larger citizens and say that if this government does not use the fund it wants to use to buy aircraft, to inject into human capital and see the life of the people gradually taking shape, why should the country spend it on aircraft? And where exactly are they going to? Just because we like to spend money anyhow we like. Otherwise, the president can charter one of the Airpeace aircraft and go to anywhere.
Really?
Yes.
As the president?
Yes. Yes. When the flight had issue in was in the Netherlands.
Yes.
What did he do?
Use the commercial.
So, is he going to die? You can charter this thing to go to where you're going to. At this time, this is not the time to buy anything of such. You know how much it costs to get an aircraft? One. To even lease one. So, I mean, they're talking about two.
And then that's almost $21 billion or so. Okay, now, moving on, do you think for once, because Nigerians are not telling the president to lead by example, do you think for once he will lead by example? Maybe listen.
During the Salah, he was also still calling the citizens to sacrifice more. Okay? There's a limit to which you can sacrifice. Okay? Not everyone will understand the doctrine of long suffering, as we see in the scripture.
Sure.
And not everyone is a Christian too. Okay? So suffering will get to a point where it will become madness. You understand? If you take a good audit of lunatics all over the world, part of the variables that constitute to their ailment is poverty and hopelessness. When you get to that level of destitution, then you cannot. Let us not allow this crack to deepen. Okay? A crack we have now to deepen. But it's the reason none of us here can go to our village, travel to our village by road. It's this crack. Some persons have taken arms and they've occupied the stratosphere. You cannot move. Okay, they are making demands on you. The citizens they are making demands on does not have. The president is saying they sacrifice more. So how long will this go? How long?
All right, so let's look at this issue. UAE to lift visa ban on Nigerians soon, says Keyamo. Now, this is the second time it is coming in a row. The first time it was alleged. A jury in Gelale came up to say the same thing, and it was known to be false. And now we're saying, having it from Keyamo himself. Do you think this could be authentic?
Yeah, Keyamo is the aviation minister, at least to some extent. We have seen him made moves on the issue. He has been on the issue for quite a long time to see how this visa ban can be lifted. Not just for the benefit of Nigerian citizens, but also for the benefit of the UAE. Yes, because there's a lot of investment that will pull from here and there. In real estate, in commerce, a lot of people go there to buy things. That's why you have that window. Their visa is even a commercial one. You are expected to be in the country within a specific time. You can extend as long as you can prove and show that you are doing business and you are not done with what you are doing and you needed more time to complete what you are doing. So the inflow of resources to that country from Nigeria is also one that is desired of them. Okay, so but it is the criminal element,
Exactly.
because some Nigerians went there and started doing cultism.
Beautiful, because the last I know, the UAE only placed the ban for Nigerians between 40 and below.
Yes, yes.
Simply because of this thing.
Yes. They went there and they were shooting guns, and the UAE government are looking at that. Said, what is this? Upon investigation, they found out that there's what they call cultism. They're not aware, and they can carry differences from Nigeria and come to UAE to settle it with guns and all that. So they decided to do what they did. But if Kiyama is saying they are going to, it's a ban, okay? A ban. What it means is at some point you restrict people, at some point you uplift.
Okay.
When people have learned their lessons and they are remorseful and they are willing to, make a change, you can give them another chance. So I think it's just international diplomacy.
Okay.
And it will be resolved. As he said, I believe him because this is the minister in charge of that area, aviation, is the one talking now.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think that is...
so he should have first-hand
he should know where we are.
All right. All right, so quickly, let's move on. What do we have?
The next paper on our desk is the Punch newspaper, and the big story here, fear of school outbreak rises as pupils resume. We have, just a write to that story, Lagos Emergency Committee meets. UNICEF, experts urge sanitation in schools.
Yeah, that's a colorous spread, that is. And on the top strip of the same newspaper, import duty, federal government summons 80 private jet owners over operating papers.
And moving on, the Senate to receive 2024 supplementary budget July. Details are on page 9.
Yes, and presidency will be clash over new presidential jet. I think we've taken that. And so let's get into the big story here.
Fear of school outbreak rises as pupils resume. Now, looking at the current cholera outbreak, a lot of persons, even on social media, you can see people coming out to write that hospitals are full. A particular lady came into Nigeria a few weeks back and she lost her life because she never knew she caught it. And by the time they could get to the hospital, it was late. And we know how the school environment is. Young children, their immune system are not really strong at the moment.
Yes.
Now, do you think this is the right time to open up schools? Because summer will be over by
I do not think they should open up the schools this way, because the truth is, especially the public schools, their toilet facilities and their sanitaries, it's not the best. In Lagos State, you have a semblance of sanity, but in other states, in many states, they don't have a good sanitary system. The government of these respective states should have, by way of enhancing employment, should get more hands to take care of the sanitary situation of most of these schools. When you go to even the boarding houses, they are not, most times, you don't really get to see a clean environment all around, okay? So the government should do something very drastic. Maybe the senior school can resume, but the junior school from JSS 3, I don't think this is the time. They should maybe give another 2 weeks. Within that 2 weeks, each school should be mandated to, revamp their toilets, their bedroom, their everything, and then get disinfectants, get kits, okay, that will protect these children. Because you see, when they say it's an outbreak is contagious.
Yes.
Okay, it's contagious. So, and these are children who will not, sometimes during break, before break, after break, they buy anything, they eat from their hands. They are not washing their hands. Nobody is giving orientation and all that. So I think 2 weeks is a good window to reorientate the children. When they resume, they take them through sanitary process before they fully resume. The senior class can resume. That's what I think should be done.
But don't you think in 2024, it's sad that we're still having such an epidemic, ravaging our society?
When your environment is not clean, that's what it is. When the environment is not clean, you will have it. And when it's raining like this, the rainy season, and you have refuse all over the place, those refuse are not moved in good time. And it rains and it gets fermented. the disease will be spreading. Okay. So it's a big situation. We are not particularly safe. Okay. People are defecating on the expressway. People are defecating on the expressway as we speak. That is part of the issue we're talking about. When they defecate and it rains on it and everywhere is messed up, that is part of it. So it's not just about the government at all times. It is now the citizens. Okay, and that is why I have written a brief already, and I'm suing the Attorney General of Lagos State, the Attorney General of Ogun State, and the Attorney General of the Federation.
For what?
Yes, I have the brief already. I am seeking for an order of mandamus, okay, to compel them in the respective states and the federal, respectively, to set up a task force to restrain their citizens from open defecation. Because the responsibility of a state is a public interest litigation. The responsibility of a state is that, part of the responsibility is that it must be able to take care of its environment, immediate environment. That is why they have a commissioner for environment. The duty of the commissioner for environment is to ensure that the environment is kept in habitable condition at all times. So that office is being budgeted for by the state government. So the state government must, as a matter of necessity, ensure that whatever they can do to restrain their citizens from messing up the entire space, they have to do it. Okay? Because we wrote them a pre-action notice to that effect, and nothing has been done up till now. So now we're ripe for hearing. I'll circulate the process after the show, so that you can have a look of what it is.
Please, we'll be glad to have that, because it's so very important for our society. Let's move on to our next daily, and then the final one, that is coming from the Daily Trust newspaper. And the big story here says, sacrifice, lead by example, Nigerians reply Tinubu. And on the top strip, President Tinubu didn't replace Murtala Mohammed Way with Soyinka. That is coming from the federal government. And the last story here, the Castina holds a Salah Dabba. And let's get into this big story. Although we have done a little bit of it, but let's do it in full here. Now, looking at the incongruent behavior of our leaders, and this is somewhat, they would call it leadership entitlement or leadership immunity. But the English word is hypocrisy. Do you really think our leaders understand the difference?
The difference
between leadership entitlement and immunity and hypocrisy?
Well, as it relates to what story?
As it relates to the sacrifice. Because when our leaders say one thing, when our leaders say one thing and do another.
Yes, it's pure hypocrisy, that is clear. Because you are asking people to sacrifice, you are not sacrificing. Okay, now I just got a wind of the information now that a supplementary budget of 2024 is coming.
Yes, in July.
This may be a government of supplementary budget too. You know, when they came in, that's the first thing they do. They did. Now, they already, the budgets we're dealing with, okay, was adjusted at some point by the National Assembly when the price of crude went higher, okay, and we arrived at a figure. Now, there's a supplementary budget coming, meaning that possibly some of the issues that they are trying to address now may be in that budget.
Like the aircraft?
Yes, maybe in that budget. You understand? And you don't have a National Assembly that have optics that will, do justice. You don't have a National Assembly that can filter and say, look at the president and say no. So it's like we're in a very long problem. Because because the first question I raised when I talk about the aircraft is in the budget. And I know that intelligently they must have put it there to pass it. You are having a supplementary budget. The first half of the year, how well has the substantive budget performed? How many percent has it performed? Because how many percent has it performed? So why should you need a supplementary budget when, if we gauge what we have done so far, what we have seen so far in the first half? Because the first half is going to end this month end. Do you know how the budget has performed so far in the first 6 months? How many percent? We don't have the
No,
Bureau of
no
Statistics.
Yeah,
It's
no
supposed
statistics
to,
show that,
it's supposed to show us, and we can actually look at the graph and see where what has been released so far. Have they released half of that money? And the monies released so far, has it been used? And the projects, have they gotten to the what they have done so far? Is it commensurate with what has been released so far? Before we talk about the supplementary budget. Because this supplementary is another wastage from what I can see, because they are asking for bogus things. If you go to that supplementary budget, you will not find one place where they will talk about budgeting for the resuscitation of the life of the average man that have gone through a 6 months period of hell. How he too can fare and share from the national income. You won't see it. You keep seeing issues, this, that. They say they are talking about rural roads now. Okay, so I don't know, federal government. So this analysis sometimes.
Thank you.
Well, that's just what we have, Choma. When we have leaders who are really not passionate about leadership. I was going through a viral video of Rwanda. Man, the magic in Rwanda is simply out of this world, and it's a landlocked country.
Yes.
And I wonder if a landlocked country can do such a magic. How much more a country as big as Nigeria? Well,
we pray God give us leaders that have the people at heart.
Yeah, we hope so.
Okay, moving on. When we return, tension in Rivers State as council chairmen vow to stay in office despite the expiration of their tenures. Details in a moment.